What's up, everybody? This is Information here.
What's up, everybody? It's I, Ken the Snake.
Hello, everyone. This is WingedArtist28.
Greetings, everyone. This is CC Trainor-Ling.
What's going on, guys? It's James the Con Man, and remember, you can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave.
Alright, the plot here is that when the Petshoppers infected with ants, the pets need to find a place to stay, and they find an old pet hotel called the Pawza Hotel, and decide to rebuild it. And the subplot is that Fisher Biscuit hears about their plan and tries to send a guy impersonating a fake building inspector to ruin their plans of rebuilding it. So, my first positive would have to be the song. Biscuit Family Business is awesome. Fisher Biscuit finally gets a song. Sam Vincent just goes to show why he's one of my favorite voice actors of all time. No matter what voice he's in, he can sing and pitch. The lyrics were great. There were some parts where I had to question what they were talking about in the song. I really liked the song. It was so good. And then we got to hear Shan Chan Kent sing, which was the first time first time this season.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought the song was really enjoyable, especially since it's a villain song, because it reminds me like something that can come out of Disney.
Yeah.
And my friend also pointed out that it reminded them of Stop the Bats from the MLP episode Bats, and I could actually see how.
What I actually got out from that is that this is the first time we heard Fisher Biscuit singing. It's not bad for Sam to sing in Fisher's voice. I mean, clearly it just shows how really maniacal he can actually be when it just shows a mode of just wanting to be on top of LPS and during the art perhaps.
Oh yeah. The one thing I got from this was, sometimes whenever I watch an episode, I just make little jokes in my head, and the one that came up whenever I was watching this was, they should play this during the orientation day of every business school in college across the country. Especially if you're going to administrative business.
I would just love attending that class if I had to listen to that song every day when I walked. It's okay, I'm going to enjoy coming to class now.
Yeah.
But in case you guys don't have 2 minutes to spare to listen, it basically amounts to business, numbers. Is this working?
Yes.
Hooray! That's basically what it amounts to.
It just shows what a true character Fisher is. He just is a dead-on businessman. Sometimes he confuses us on what his intentions really are, but I think this song pretty much confirms that he is all about just being on top and just being number one in business. The song must confirm it.
He's the archetypical kind of corrupt corporate executive, but with a heart of gold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He has his goods and his bads.
I'd like to add a positive in here. It would be at the climax where Blythe and the pets are taking down Mr. Dale via Home Alone style, and pretty much the way the pets actually start set up their those tactics to prove that Mr. Dale is not a real inspector. It was kind of funny to watch, and perhaps with all the comedy put into it, it's the hilarious just there, and then the reveal was actually sort of what paid out when Blythe was recording going his confession to that.
I'm just surprised she hasn't uploaded it to the internet. He just exposed the biscuits for how bad they are.
Yeah, I know. He should have done that.
It's please just post it on YouTube or whatever it is that downtown city people use.
Yeah.
Yeah, put it on YouTube, on LiveLeak, and be oh, building inspector reveals he's a fake. It's time to close down the Happiness Hotel. I mean, the Pawza Hotel. Sorry.
It was a time for a finale that we didn't expect.
Biscuit Family Secrets Exposed on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd like to talk about Zoe and Pepper in this episode, and since they didn't appear in the last episode at all, I'm so glad that they came back this episode, because they're always great characters to me. This episode definitely makes up for the lack of pets last episode, and it's even better since Madison was the one to take them out for a walk, because I think Madison is hilarious.
Oh yeah, preach it, brother, preach! Yeah.
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 And just how often do Zoe and Pepper get their own little moments together that take up nearly the whole episode besides frenemies?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a rarity, but I
Actually,
appreciate it.
I'd like to mention something, not just with them. This is just my own little thing that I found hilarious. You guys probably already know what it is. Snail in a skirt.
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah, I was watching it and I'm just wait, what?
It's just him.
Crossing gender norms.
Apparently he was rushing a bit when it came to costume change and accidentally got a female outfit instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's personally one of my favorite parts. So why are they in tennis uniforms?
To make it more authentic, duh. I mean, hello, tennis room. Of course you're going to wear the tennis outfits. It's basically required.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah, positives.
Another thing I'd like to talk about is the main focus of this episode, and it's the Pawza Hotel. Because Madison actually made it look amazing on the website and like it would be the best place in the world. And they actually made it look like the website by the end of the episode.
Yeah.
I hope this hotel keeps as recurring because I want to see more of it even now that the building is renovated. But I don't think they will.
You never know. I mean, they changed it from the Happiness Hotel to basically any sort of Nickelodeon hotel, so.
Yeah, and I like to add like a final positive to this. I kind of was thinking that this actually is another entry to the LPS versus LAPS arc. In the sense, that we've been actually aware of how like Littlest Pet Shop and Littlest Pet Shop and Larger Pet Shop have this big rivalry like since established in the first episode. And recently we've encountered with like Hamster Hoods like when at a time when particularly like there's a big maze between LAPS and LAPS where all the LAPS merchandise were like stolen and then put in LAPS, and then it caused a bit of tension between those two, and now we're actually here and it in a sense right here. So and perhaps that when Fisher actually sort of sees the LAPS like near the Pawza, even though it's not affiliated with LPS. Yes, it just shows like how he thinks that Mrs. Twombly is like the one that has all the ideas and while he doesn't, and it just makes him having these moments just to want to like get on top of things with that. So the sort of tension actually sort of gets a bit interesting when you think about it.
Yeah.
This is another chapter in the story between the littlest pet shop and the largest ever pet shop. Mm-hmm. A story of David and Goliath, if I ever saw one.
Yes.
You may have won the battle, but the war is not over yet, Tulsa.
I really want to see a lot more interaction between Fisher and Anna T. Like, not just in Door Jump, but just like when they actually do face each other.
So if we could go on to negatives.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, yes.
Actually, this isn't really much of a negative. This is more of a nitpick for me, because that's usually what my negatives are. But for me, I kind of have to say Fisher's personality in this episode. For some reason, like when we saw Winter Wonder What, he was happy that she saved their daughters. And so he said, I owe you one. And if you owe her one, why not just let her do this? Because he seems like the perfect father figure, and then in this episode he turns back around to Mr. Business and everything is about business.
Well, you know the old phrase goes, it's nothing personal, it's just business.
Yeah. And then
however, in this case, it might be an exception.
Definitely a huge exception.
Mm-hmm. One of my negatives is Madison, but I don't want to put herself as a negative. I want to put how she was treated as a negative. Blythe asked her to take Zoe and Pepper for a walk, and she ran all across town so Zoe and Pepper could see Dale and Fisher talking together. But in Madison's point of view, they were dragging her across town all for nothing because she didn't know what Zoe and Pepper were doing or what they wanted to see. Then she came back to the hotel all exhausted and then took a nap on a chair, and she didn't even get a thank you from Blythe.
Well, in the fog of war, sometimes thank yous and whatnot are kind of forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess considering Madison's personality, I don't think she would have even noticed the thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just her. She's just usually out of it most of the time. So probably no matter what's said to her, it just goes over her head, so it doesn't matter.
I guess so.
You gotta.
But Madison probably wasn't as worse as Mr. Dale. Him trying to be a building inspector, he wasn't really coming off as convincing enough to really be an inspector. I mean, if he really wanted to prove that he was an inspector, shouldn't he have had some sort of fake ID to trick Blythe into believing it?
I'm with you on that, man.
More sense then.
Yeah, I'm with you on that because at least if he's gonna go big, he's gotta have the ID and everything. And freaking Mark Knopfler here, that's what I call him. Mark Knopfler comes in and says that he is a building inspector, but is clearly not and has no ID. I mean, if you come in and say that you're a government official, shouldn't you have some form of ID?
Yeah.
The only thing I really liked about Mr. Dale was that it was Peter New's voice, and Mr. Dale looks exactly like Peter.
I was saying he looked like Mark Knopfler's character in Money for Nothing, the mover dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of you younger ones might not get that reference, but look it up. It's on YouTube.
One of my other negatives I have to say is lack of Sophie. I mean, she was introduced when they got to the hotel with Madison, but they really didn't do a whole lot with her, which I wish they would have continued to do more with her. And it was just like, what's going on? It's like you just introduced a new character. You might as well touch up on them a little bit more instead of just like, oh, hey, bye.
Yeah, because if we take a look at episodes like What's So Scary About the Jungle, everything, Tess McSavage was there for a really big sum of the episode.
Yeah.
Practically the whole episode. But for Sophie in this episode, it felt like she was only there for maybe a total of like 3-4 minutes.
Yeah.
I think the reason why is because in What's So Scary About the Jungle, everything, the episode was supposed to be about Tess. She is, for some reason, afraid of monkeys and primates. While here, it's supposed to be more about the situation about the hotel. So
I guess I can see where you're coming at with that, because like the show is about Littlest Pet Shop, but yet they don't always show Mrs. Twombly in every episode, and sometimes she doesn't get a whole lot of screen time.
Yeah, so maybe they might show Sophie again in a later one and elaborate more on her. Just little taste. You don't want to get too wrapped up in her backstory whenever we got a hotel to worry about.
Yeah, because when you think about it, this could be one of the things that they might bring back as continuity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they've done
continuity
for the rest of the season, and the series for that matter, with season 4 coming out.
I guess my take, on the negatives for characters, in that sense, is, even if I actually enjoy Fisher's, villainous ambitions, to take down, the Pawza Hotel with the larger pet shop hotel, one thing that kind of bugged me about him, though, is that he tends to have this, I don't know if he may have this sort of mood swing, nature. I mean, because apparently that it sort of leaves him with some sort of, of inconsistency with continuity of his character development. Perhaps, in Winter Wonder Why, he actually has his own, a soft side when he basically, is depending on the twins to actually, learn about generosity, to actually help one in need, to get less presents. But then, over here, when we just saw, he basically just turned out to be more villainous, just to give them all what they want. Cause, I don't know if it just had to do with just how Winter Wonder Why was more of a sort of of a soft time, to just take a break. But now we're back at the sort of normal routine where they're pretty much we're still going to take down LPS just for our benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like I said, it's all in the fog of war. Maybe he had a bit of a softer side because, it's the holidays. I mean, even a businessman knows that if you're a Scrooge or a cruel son of a gun during the holidays, nobody's going to want to be near you. But since the holidays are over, he can come back to being, a complete corrupt corporate executive.
Yeah, that's understandable, but yeah, it's so bad.
Kind of like a Jekyll and Hyde thing, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Another issue I had, I believe Blythe was being a jerk to the fake inspector at the end of the episode, because I know some people said that they liked the Blythe messing around with the inspector, but I think all she was doing was resorting to indirect violence, trickery, and deceit to expose the fraud that he is. She even recorded her confession while he was crying, and with the fake building inspector, I don't understand why he revealed all of his secret plans to Blythe. She only needed to know that the confession that he was fake. She didn't need to know any of Fisher Biscuit's plans. She only needed to have the confession recorded.
I guess Mr. Bale just broke down,
Well, it was near the end of the episode, so they only had a couple more minutes, I guess, resolve the story, so that might have been why they did that. But as for, all the pranks and whatnot, I think it might be more of a Home Alone situation here, too. Because he wasn't actually seriously injured in any of those. I think the worst
except with the bowling ball.
Oh, the bowling ball, yeah. I mean, I can do a bit of
ball.
damage. But, the ice hockey, be glad Phil Hartman wasn't in there. Again, older folks might get that joke, but, yeah. But about the whole recording him crying and revealing his plans, I think that might have been just in case, Fisher tries to fight back, Blythe has proof, instead of this, it makes sense, because, if you don't have proof, then, your word means nothing.
Yeah. Another thing I wanted to mention is, I know this is the point of the show, and I think I felt it more after the second half of the season started, but Blythe has always been saying she just knows everything. It kind of reminds me of Timmy Turner and how he says he gets everything on the internet. So I think it's kind of a cop-out.
I kind of have to agree with you on this one. most of the other negatives I've been trying to, somewhat rationalize. But this one I agree with you. She's kind of pushing it here.
It's usually just intuition, right?
I mean, yeah, the building inspector it did seem a little fishy, but.
And I also have a nitpick for this episode, because I noticed at the beginning of the episode, we noticed Penny and all of the other pets staring at an ant that Penny had, I guess, adopted. She named Coconut the ant. But what bugs me is that Penny is a pet herself. So in order of hierarchy, it will be like an owner owning a pet owning a pet. To me, it kind of seems ironic, I guess.
What is wrong with your nitpick? It's just an ant, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
An ant!
Shay, just because she can have dreams too.
Penny, who do you think you are?
She has an ant, Pepper has props, Zoe has fashion, Sunil has a magician's kit. Let them have their things, for crying out loud. Come on.
As well as reading.
Yeah, he has books, and he also has a handheld game console.
And a clipboard.
Yeah, and he has tap shoes and a top hat and bow tie. So let them own things, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
I mean, Penny, who do you think you are? Do you think you're Hank Pym? Do you think you're Ant-Man?
Oh, don't you dare start.
Alright, so for me, overall, I thought it was a really good episode. It had a great song, obviously. We got some more stuff from Sam Vincent. Mr. Dale was kind of iffy. I wasn't really too much of a fan of him. Sorry, Peter knew. The Pawza looked fantastic. I love the idea of how they were trying to rebuild it. The references were good. Fisher Biscuit was pretty good. The Biscuit Twins were really good. Everything about this episode was really good. So I'm just going to stop rambling on. I'm just going to say 9.5 out of 10.
I really enjoyed this episode. Mr. Dale reminds me of the Italian mafia, I guess, with both his voice and looks, but I don't really know why. That's just the first thing that came to my head when I saw him. The Biscuits, the Fishers, and the fake inspector's evil laughs were all great during the episode.
Yeah.
Usually evil laughs are kind of cringeworthy, but this one wasn't. It worked really well in this episode. And I'll show pictures of it here, but when Blythe got approached by Mr. Dale, she was wearing the exact same headphones that I have. And by the end of the episode, this was reminding me of the one SpongeBob episode where they met a fake inspector and knocked him out, only for them to realize it was a real inspector all along. But it could also be a Home Alone reference. Overall, I enjoyed this episode immensely. And there was nothing too bad in this episode. I enjoyed that Zoe and Pepper got back, and I'll give it a 9 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. I do also enjoy this episode. The remodeling of the hotel is actually a nice one. The LPS versus LPS arc is getting more interesting for me, and the villain song is actually not that bad. Though I kind of wish Fisher could have a better reason of his personality clearly than just seeing his shift in previous episodes. But I guess what was stated earlier is understandable. So yeah, it's still a great episode. I still liked it. So it's my final score is 9 out of 10.
But this episode, there's really not much for me to hate it too much. I felt that the story was very well written. I really loved the Biscuit song. It just goes to show what kind of Fisher is truly underneath all of that niceness and generosity. All of the comedy was great, especially when Mr. Dale's getting hurt. Hilarious. Zoe and Pepper moments. Hey, about time we got more of them together in scenes. Pawza, in both the pictures and after its restoration, looked fantastic. I hope we get to see more of it real soon. More of LPS versus LEPS. Just enjoying that continuity very well. As far as my negatives would go, Mr. Dale, not really that convincing, and just like Snake said, really, really mafia-like, so I really, really love that. Madison could have been handled a little bit better, but then again, it's Madison, so you can't really handle her all too well or all too, poorly. Sophie definitely needed a lot more screen time. But besides my minor negatives, there's nothing too bad about this episode, so I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10.
All right, let's see. First of all, Snake, you said most evil laughs are cringeworthy. I'm going to have to rebuke you on that. Anyway, on my final thoughts in the episode. Well, I thought this one was pretty good, pretty fantastic. I mean, I like I of course love the song. I mean, Business 101, let's have it put into colleges, people. I mean, I'm going to start a petition. Have this song played at orientation at colleges across the country for business. Happiness Hotel, and I mean, the Pawza Hotel is awesome, both, in its decrepit state and when it was restored and on the website. Mr. Dale was even though he was starting off as kind of a shady character and was always a shady character, I kind of like the charm to him. He does seem like a rather interesting character. I do agree we should have seen a little bit more of Sophie, but, a little goes a long way, and who knows, we might see her again in a later episode, especially if the Pawza is involved. Let's see, of course Zoe and Pepper were amazing, as always. I think Snake can agree with me on that. And overall, I'd say my final score is, a 9.5 out of 10. It's up there.
Alright, that is all for this from me. This is Littlest98.
I Can Snake.
WingedArtist28.
CC Trainor-Ling.
James the Con Man!
We'll see you guys later for next week. Only 4 episodes left of Season 3.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Can't believe we're already there.
Oh, man.
Sad days are coming.
But hey, we know Season 4 is coming, so...
That's good.
Yeah.
Hooray for us!
Not, my fellow reviewers and Petshoppers. We are not going to die yet.
Mm-hmm.
We shall live on!
There was probably like Rogers and Nick Conform. Yeah. Those 2 new writers.
Peace out, home slices.
Meanwhile, we get some word from a League of Pet Shopper, who is feeling under the weather.
Time for my review. Also, I'm very sick thanks to me helping them fix the hotel and whatnot. See, there's me in the background. Not really. Seriously though, I'm really sick. Now, it's time to get started. This episode is a breath of fresh air compared to last week's installment. This episode wasn't trying to teach a lesson but rather to be entertaining, and with the various movie references and jokes, made this episode one to remember. The Biscuit Family Business is probably the best song of Season 3. Fisher reminded me of Norman Osborn in the Spider-Man movie, played by William Dafoe. Ekans put a picture of Norman next to a picture of Fisher, preferably one with them doing an evil grin. Awesome. Love seeing them Biscuit twins. They are great antagonists for the series, so I just love how good they are at getting heat. They're the bad guys, so their role is to make you, the audience, side with Blythe and the pets to see them overcome the odds they put against them. This song. It's so well done. The style of the song reminds me of the song from the My Little Pony episode, Pets. I've heard the song so many times and it never loses its charm. Having the Biscuit family singing together was great since Whitney and Brittany sing so good. Thanks Shannon Chan Kent. Another part that I love involving the Biscuit family is when they start doing the evil laugh. I really wish they would pull an Austin Powers and have it where they keep laughing so long to the point where it slowly loses its momentum. Ekans, if you can, could you put that clip? If not, we'll just put a link in the description. I love the Biscuit family in this episode. Also, I have to say this again, Winter Wonder came out in the incorrect order. It's supposed to come out before Hamster Hoods. I love Mrs. Twombly, so seeing her in the episode is always great. Pepper and Zoe really stood out, and it's always great to see them interact with each other and be the main 2 pets of the episode. Everything about this episode is awesome, however, the ending was just okay. Not the best, since it felt like a lame kids movie, but other than that this episode was great. I noticed some other negatives that I feel I need to shed some light on. Mr. Dale isn't a horrible villain, but I do love his voice. It reminds me of The Godfather in a way, and his look is something out of a mobster movie. Ekans surprised me with a picture of someone who looks similar if not exactly like Mr. Dale. Mr. Dale's role seems to just be a kids movie style villain. I'll make you an offer you can't refuse. Ha! I kinda wish he said that. Blythe being mean to him was justified since he's that bad guy. Hello. Madison getting treated poorly seems to be an odd claim that was made in this review. I thought with the praise and the fact that she inspired the entire concept of the hotel was nice. She did show some reluctances about taking Pepper and Zoe out for a walk. I will agree that it would have been nice to get a bit more character out of Sophie, but she's not the main point of the episode, so what could you do? In regards to Fisher and the episode being a bit different from his usual self. Fisher is a businessman, and a shady one at that. Remember Steve the Water Cobra? So mess with him in business, then we have a problem. Penny Ling having a petment apparently seems to be a problem. Pets can to pets for some reason. It's a code or something. Also, Blythe just knows. She knows all. ha 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 ha. Wow, that laugh sucked. Ekans, could you put the laugh again looped or something? Ha 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 ha. So overall I'll give this episode a 9.9 out of 10. Other than the slightly weak ending, everything about this episode was amazing and very well done. With some strong comedic moments makes this one definitely one of the best of season 3. With a fantastic song, great comedic moments, Mrs. Twombly, the Biscuit Twins, and just overall being very entertaining makes this one a great episode. Not perfect but really close to it. We continue the LPS versus LEPS storyline with this great installment. I'm going to try to recover since I lost my voice, thus me using this method of communicating with you all. You know nothing will stop the DB from doing these reviews, so till next time Pet Shoppers, I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks, and thanks again.